have you here. Thank you for your dedication to Rockcastle County Schools and for your presence here tonight. I'd like to call this meeting to order. The first thing on our agenda tonight is a moment of silent prayer. Thank you. Item 1B is a roll call. Let the minutes know Miss Ann is going to be just a few minutes late. So that all should be here. Item 1C is the reading of 14 commitments, and I'll ask Ms. Lister.
The board team commitments for Rockcastle County Schools to improve our effectiveness. The board team of Rockcastle County Schools commits to review processes and experiences to identify and direct improvements, continuously define and work toward long-term goals which serve all students of the district, make each decision based on facts and the best for all students, listen to each other and speak freely, work together, support each other and not surprise one another, discuss board deliberations to the point of mutually agreeable resolution based on factual information, support the majority's decision, projecting board unity towards shared goals for continuously improving district-wide student learning, operate without a personal or political agenda, respect one another, agree to disagree respectfully, delegate implementation to superintendent and education team, and to respectfully remind each other of these commitments.
Item 2 is to adopt the agenda. We need to make an amendment to our agenda tonight. We need to add under operations and actions on item B. It is a contract with Tuttle. It's for September 2nd, 25 through September 1st, 26. Dr. Banning, would you like to explain that?
Certainly. This is a contract that RCHS has been waiting on since earlier in the summer, and they received it at the end of the day today. Mr. McNabb sent it over and asked if it was possible for us to approve this tonight. It is a contract that the high school will enter into more than person board has to approve any contract, and this is the service that they use that videos their athletic fields.
I move to approve the agenda with the addition.
Second. All in favor? Item 3 is our school and community showcase, and the first one up is the Rockcastle County High School District.
I'll introduce them, but I'm so glad to join you guys. We're 3 weeks in. We've gotten a great school start. So far, you know, one of our biggest changes is the Lighthouse leadership team. Those students applied last spring and were selected based on future recommendations. They're split now into 3 homerooms. Ms. Ellis taking the lead on helping organize and keep all the moving parts from running into each other. And then we have our 3 homeroom leaders, Ms. Erin Grace, Ms. Joan Blake, and Shannon Childress. And so I could tell you about how much they've already accomplished in 3 weeks, but I would much rather than show you. So they've helped take on the Link Crew student orientation for incoming freshmen. They did a fabulous job with that, and then they've already hit the ground running. So with that, I think Ms. Kaden Collins is going to get us started. And then after that, if y'all have any questions for them or me or Ms. Ellis or something.
Okay. Hi guys, my name is Kaden Collins. I'm a senior this year. I'm Elizabeth Phelan and I'm a senior and I'm part of the Lighthouse Leader team.
Kelly Dunaway, and I'm a senior and I'm part of the Lighthouse Leader team.
Ben Colliff, I'm a junior and I'm a part of the Lighthouse leadership team.
I'm Sydney Woods. I'm a senior and I'm a part of the Lighthouse leadership team.
I'm Ella McKinney and I am a senior and I'm part of the Lighthouse Leadership Committee and Student Council Co-President. So during this time with the Lighthouse Leadership Team and Student Council, we just wanted to showcase all the upcoming events that we're hoping that will happen very soon, and then what's been going on the first 2 weeks of school. So back to school, me, Miss Joni, and some of the Lighthouse Leadership people, and Ella and I took pictures of the students on the first day of school, just to ease nerves, really, especially the freshmen, because they're super nervous going into a new school. And so on August 20th, we hosted the freshman orientation. Link Crew did Lighthouse Leadership. We all coordinated with that. It's a series of games and just introducing the freshmen to the high school by giving them a tour, kind of breaking the ice just to make them more comfortable with their transition into the high school, because I know me as a freshman, I was really nervous, and freshman orientation helped me a lot. So me and Sydney are gonna kind of like show you all a game that we did, not like actually, but so like this beach ball had like a bunch of different questions on it. So like I would throw it to Ella, and then whatever question her thumb landed on, she would read out loud. If you could be any animal, what would you be and why? And then I would be like, oh, my favorite animal is a shark, and I would want to be that because I think they're really cool and I love the beach. And then I would throw the ball to somebody else, and they would answer the question too. And it was just a good way to get the freshmen to like interact with us and have just a familiar face to kind of see in the high school and be okay with being there.
So Celebration Friday is something the Lighthouse leadership team has started up this year, and it's made pretty cool. And it's just where we come together every Friday, and we just everybody comes together as a school, and it ranges from different things. So from pep rallies to Fresh Air Fridays, which is just a day for people to go out and just walk around. And maybe we use it as a way to highlight something. So something we're doing this Friday is we are kind of like highlighting the first game on our new field. So we're just the senior football boys are doing something special for that. We're just doing a little bit of fun stuff to get pepped and ready for the first football game on the field. And last Friday, our first Celebration Friday was just an introduction of the teachers, of the fall sports, and just to celebrate just the first week of school. So it's just a great way to get people together and just celebrate the end of the week every week.
So Leader in Me is actually currently being implemented in RCHS. We have a new adjustment every day with the homeroom that we have every day in between third and fourth period. It's 30 minutes long, and during this time, the Lighthouse team gets to plan any activities for Celebration Friday or just any other thing that's going on in the high school. But the kids who aren't in Leader in Me, they have a Leader in Me curriculum that their homeroom teacher is presenting to them, but that won't be taking place until after fall break. And ever since Leader in Me has been implemented, me personally, I've seen a huge spike in the student involvement, especially with our last Celebration Friday. I've just seen a lot of kids wanting to get involved and play the games because they weren't afraid. They seen us participating, so like, oh, it's okay, like I can participate. And a lot of kids they feel like they have a voice now, because I've had several people come up to me and ask me if they would give me like whatever they wanted to do, and I would present it in the leadership meetings. And I feel like a lot of kids that way, they're like, they have a voice, but their voices are being seen. Like they've actually seen the change, and they're actually being like seen, and like not just like, oh, I just said that, but like they're seeing the action taking place. So that's really what Leader in Me is. The main focus is just to get more student involvement.
So these are some of our upcoming events at the high school. So our club fair will be the 16th and 17th of this month. So that is a great time for all the students to get together and see the clubs they can join. Some of these are FCA, First Priority, and Educators Rising. These are just clubs that students can get involved in, compete in contests, have fun with. Celebration Friday, this Friday, is going to be all Rockcastle. We're going to, I don't know if are we doing a Spirit Day? We're doing a Spirit Day. We want everyone to be there and show up because we love Rockcastle County, and we want to see the home field finished. Then our next Celebration Friday will be a Fresh Air Friday. You know, go out and walk around the track to celebrate just getting into fall and getting into a good school year. Our first club day will be the 10th of October, or 3rd of October. They'll finally get to see their clubs and have fun in those. Our homecoming is the 17th. I'm sure all you guys will be there. We'll have fun, see Rockcastle at its best. Then we will have a school-wide service day on the 24th of October, where we'll do some beautification and just serve the school.
And to go along with that, the kids who are showing their voices and they want to have upcoming events, hopefully we can add some of those to our upcoming events.
Okay, I want to thank you guys for letting us speak and explain Lighthouse leadership team to you guys. You can follow us on social media if you want to, and if you guys have any questions for us.
I have a question.
Yes.
Okay, so the Lighthouse leadership team, did that replace anything that was already?
No.
So this is just a new thing that.
So the only thing that is really kind of replaced is Link Crew, which is something that we had in previous years but all that Link Crew really did was the freshman orientation, but past that, they had no further role. But the Lighthouse team does that and more. Like, it's just something positive for the school, and like Ozen was saying, it's something to bring student voice, make students be more involved in the school.
And we also coordinated with our past Link Crew leader, Miss Morgan Taylor. She actually was kind of like the host of freshman orientation, so she like talked all the freshmen through it, and it was just kind of like a good coordination to not completely eliminate Link Crew, but just kind of combine the two and make it more suited for the high school.
The Lighthouse team is a product of the leader curriculum, so developing that Lighthouse team goes right along with the expectations that I had when I went to school.
Was that one? Is that right? A Lighthouse team?
So, I would like, if y'all don't mind, I'm gonna pick on the gentleman. Explain to me about Leader in Me.
So, Leader in Me is a program that's really meant to get students involved in the school. Because usually in schools, there's going to be 5 or 10 students who are really involved, like the student council members, maybe a few clubs here and there that are really involved. But we want all the students to be involved. School cannot just be up to 10 or 12 people. More people need to be involved and get involved to make the school a better place.
Do you ladies have anything to add to that?
Oh, man.
You got it. No, you got it. Okay. So, like, our pep rally for Celebration Friday last week was actually, like, there was so much more participation than there was the past years combined, because they actually saw, like, students leading it and students, like, taking initiative. And I think that's also what Leader in Me is all about. Because if I see a teacher doing something, I'm going to be like, oh, that's what they're supposed to do. But if I see a kid doing something, I'm going to be like, hey, that's really taking really good initiative. I want to follow in that kid's footsteps. So I think that's a good thing about Leader in Me.
And something we've talked about in our homeroom is 60% of the things that you do in a school can be done by the students. So we're just really trying to put that in play, because things can be done by the students, and take some off the teachers' back and make school feel something more than just this place where you come and just get education beaten in your head, but something that can be fun also.
There's not a doubt in my mind that every one of you all are true leaders.
Okay. Big expectations this year. I bet you'll have some good ideas.
Yeah, their list is really long. But they say, that for students to have a voice, but in all honesty, they've really worked really hard too. They've not just shared an idea and expected someone else. I mean, the work they've put into the things that we've already been able to accomplish, it's really impressive. They're wanting to serve our school well for the other students, for themselves, just for the betterment of our school. So I do appreciate their hearts and the rest of the group. So.
Thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
Great job.
Anyway, I see nothing else. I got this one. What? Yeah.
Takes it afterwards.
What happened? So, yeah. Let's be joking. We're gonna say that name.
That's how Brandy would say. Got kind of good cheek.
Thank you, Miss Brandy. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all for having us. Do you all have any other questions of me?
We appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
on our list tonight, item 3B, is the RCMS construction update.
I was just here to watch. Good evening, how are you all? So, as far as construction's going, we have had a excellent month. The past month, we've got a lot of progress going on. We're gonna go through some pictures here. I know that we have a focus on what's coming up on Friday night, but I'm also gonna highlight some other things that have got done, and I self-admitted, I have to say, I have had so much focus myself on making sure the field's getting done, and every time I come to the job at least every 2 weeks, and, I've been so focused on the field that today I walked the rest of the job, I was like, man, we've got a lot of other stuff done too. But, so again, we've got an overview snapshot of the full thing, field and stream, and then additionally, all the other things that have been going on. One thing I would like to note, it was discussed here on monthly meeting today, we did get, we also got some new road, or some new grad, yes, sir. It was in the district, big you can go on to the next picture. So, again, back at the school, we are hanging steel right now. They are moving hot and heavy on steel and continuing to get everything that they can get hung up. I would say here in the next couple of days, they're going to have as many joists, and start working as many joists as they can, start working on what decking they can get up for that level in the area C and D. Next picture. They're continuing to work on the concession stand also. So they're tidying up a few things down there today. We met with the building inspector this morning. He approved everything. There were just a few little odds and ends that we needed to make sure got worked out. They're working on some of them there right now. But he has approved the concession stand, so that is all good to use for the game this evening. I'm sorry to say that it is not fully finished, but it is about as finished as we can get it at this point in time. So casework has been installed. Y'all got a lot of drawers in there, huh? And they're all lockable, so that's good news. And again, ticket area, caseworks have all been installed. And then they are seeding and strawing everything as they finish it up. They've done, that is one thing that I can say they've done an excellent job at. They've done a great job at everything. They've done an excellent job at seeding and strawing as they've gone along and making sure they're getting the grass coming in, especially as they finish back around the field and trying to make everything look as good and finished as it possibly can for the upcoming season. Areas A and B, which is on the other side of the future bus tunnel, all of the footings have been, all the foundations have been poured, and they're working on the foundation block right now. Those are going to be coming up pretty soon. They'll be moving on those. We've talked with Masons about getting some extra crews there, just logistically. So the understanding in the school is they need more guys there as it is, but because of the nature of that courtyard area, there's a lot of finish work that has to be done in there before we can close that off, namely brick and stuff. So we're pulling, people are getting pulled off laying masonry to lay the bricks so we can get everything closed up and start working on that. We've talked to them about getting through that because as soon as this opens up, they have kept up with the foundation block and all of that in that area, but as soon as the slabs get poured in this area, it is going to be wide open to start laying masonry. So they have got you can kind of see that off over to the left. They've got the other side, well, now they have both poured, but they have both of the walls poured on the other side of the bus tunnel, so both those. And that is the courtyard proper, what you're looking at, the earthwork for the courtyard. So over off on the right, that is where the future ramp will be, and that picture's kind of taken from standing where stairs are going to be walking up around that. And then, this is the picture. So the field looks very good. Everything on the field has been completed. They've punched that out. They're going to be working on one or two little things left the rest of this week. the one thing that is not finished as it pertains to the track field and everything is the specialty coatings. That'll be coming, unfortunately, it's gonna be in October when they get those done. But the specialty coatings will be coming for the track also before this winter. And, they're working on painting handrails and they're all gonna be done up. I'm honestly, a year and a half, 2 years ago, when we talked about this, I had set in my head, we would had no problem committing to having a field, but, you know, I was kind of leaning heavy in the temporary bleachers and what we would potentially be looking at. But I said right here, I was like, I am thoroughly impressed with what they've been able to get done in this season, and to include the ticket booth and concession stand and whatever level it is to be able to have that. I'm thoroughly impressed with everything they've been able to get done, and I'm pleased. I'm exceptionally pleased to be able to tell you, and we can't wait to do it on Friday night. I'm not able to make Friday night. Jim Codell's gonna be here, and Daryl Willard is going to be here. But I'm not able to make it. Yes, ma'am.
Make him pay double for the ticket. It looks great.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions? Thanks. Thank you. Absolutely.
Figured out the justice, just their family.
Figured it out.
I'd say you are in a packed house on Friday. Looking forward to seeing it. Thank you all.
Item 3C is a district planning update. We're gonna actually switch spots so that when we're in the business of, looking at everybody, to just like look through this, and walk through this. Angie and I had a conversation maybe 2 weeks ago about, our equalization that we currently are receiving from the state for passing the nickel tax, and we had a discussion that let's just go back and review that and talk about what that looks like for us. So if you will just take your mind back to 2021, when we first committed that we were gonna build a middle school. Okay, so let's start there. Passing the 2 nickels that we have passed has generated millions of dollars from the state that we are able to use to transform our facilities. So this presentation is just going to talk about what that does and how that opens up extra money for us for facilities improvement. Okay, so back to 2021, we committed to building a new middle school, and we knew when we did that we were going to use all of our bonding capacity, and we had all those discussions about how nervous that made us, because what if there was an emergency, what were we going to do? So in 2022 we passed our first recallable nickel, and in 2023 we passed our second recallable nickel. Now, we were able to do that because our property values within the district had gone up. So we were able to do that without having to pass that additional tax rate on to our local taxpayers. So that was like a perfect storm that allowed us to do that. So by passing those recallable nickel 1 and recallable nickel 2, then that qualifies us for state equalization. Now, there's no guarantee that you're going to get that, but you're qualified. So the legislature approves that in every 2 years when they have a budget cycle. They approve whether a district gets state equalization or they do not. We were lucky enough that both times we passed it, we were able to advocate, and the legislature provided equalization twice for us. So I want you to think about state equalization like a gift. Okay, it's exactly the same as when the legislature gave us $17 million directly to help build the middle school. They gave us all of that in one lump sum. But the equalization is the same, except they give it to us annually. And they deposit that money directly into our building account. So instead of getting it in one lump sum, we get it annually. So the nickel is the way that we're able to, is moving forward is going to be the way that we're able to do anything. So exactly how much? So we get that equalization for a 20-year period. So nickel 1 will generate over $19 million that will go directly into our building fund. Nickel 2 will generate over $19 million that will go into our building fund, for a total of over $38 million that we will receive as a free gift from the state over 20 years. Again, we receive that annually. Now, some important things that we need to remember. We can only use this revenue for facilities only. So we can't give raises, we can't fund the instructional program, we can't do anything else with that money except apply it to our facility needs. So can you go back just a second? Down, right, perfect. So without those 2 nickels that we pass locally, we wouldn't be eligible for any of that extra state money. And the key is just to remember that we can't use it for anything else. It can't be salaries, it can't be anything else. The state says we're giving it to you for this purpose. Okay, so if you'll go down just a little bit more, perfect, and click on that left, far left, right there. Okay, so back in 2021, before we passed any nickels, our annual revenue was a little over 1.3 million that went into our building fund. Okay, and then if you'll go over 2021, we had 0 bonding capacity left because we said we're going to build a middle school. So we were out of bonding capacity. And the first nickel increased our annual revenue into that account to over 2 million. And we bumped our bonding capacity up to 1.2 million. That was with the first nickel. Then when we got the second one, and now keep going right there, our annual revenue now is $3.8 million every year going into our building fund. And currently, our bonding potential is $22.2 million. That is on top of the middle school. So the middle school's done. We've already bonded out for that. We're making bond payments on that. That is $22 million bonding capacity from this day forward. We're already, that doesn't take into account the middle school. That's a totally separate thing. So really in good shape right now. You can see how taking that nickel really increases our bonding power and gives us direct money from the state. And so think of it as a fairness mechanism, because if you think about a Boone County, a Kenton County, Jefferson County, Fayette County, they can raise money locally through the local taxes to do this. Kentucky legislature has a unique program in place that they know rural counties like Rockcastle would never have the opportunity to do that. We couldn't tax ourselves into having a $22 million bonding capacity. So they operate this as a fairness mechanism to allow rural districts to keep up with other districts around them that have more property wealth. Okay, so this is how the bonding works with the state equalization. So I know you all know that number 1, that bonding is just like a mortgage. We borrow the money in a lump sum and we pay it back over 20 years. The difference is on number 2, we have a guaranteed source of stable funding that pays back our bond payment. So investors, they give us the cash now, we repay our bond payment using the money that's generated and that the state deposits into our account. So we have the money coming in every year from the state to make that bond payment. So for our annual right now, we are going to receive almost $3.9 million in revenue going directly into our building fund, and we have unlocked $22.2 million in bonding capacity. Okay, several of you have recently asked me when the Broadhead project comes off of our bonds. So this is a schedule that shows what we are currently bonded out. And if you see the one that's bolded at the top, you will see that at 2026, we will no longer have a bond payment for Broadhead. And then the others are, you can see in that final maturity column when those others fall off.
So really, this money, Terry, you and I talked about it, this money is just kind of, I hate to say it this way, because I don't want it's going, you know, it's free money, but state's goodness didn't have facility projects, that's their facilities.
It's a gift.
So, and I'm assuming by you advocating for it is why we could receive those funds. Okay, correct? Okay, did that sound disrespectful? Or,
No, you're in good shape. Okay, Candy, if you'll go to next. Now, I know this is a lot, and this is a little bit what I've already said, but I want to walk you through. If you will look at column F and G, where it says original nickel and original nickel equalization. Every district in the state of Kentucky has to have an original nickel. That's how you get to SFCC offers. If you don't do that, then you don't get any SFCC offers. So everybody has that column. And that's where we have lived forever. We've never had recallable nickel, recallable equalization, recallable nickel, recallable equalization. We've never had any of that until 2022. So most districts live, you don't go past F or G. But because we passed those two nickels, we have H and I columns because we passed those in 2022. So locally, that recallable nickel generates that 448,000, and then the state kicks in that equalization money. And then in 2023, we did the exact same thing. So we have recallable nickel, 448 from local input, and then the state kicks in. Now, if you look at column K and you see 258,000 right there, when this legislature equalizes a nickel, the first 2 years you only get 20% of your equalization money, and then the next 18 you get the full amount. I don't know why that is. That's just the way that the legislature operates. So if you look at that and you wonder why in those first 2 years is it less, it's because that's within the statute. You only get 20% equalization the first 2 years, full equalization the other 18. This is another way of looking at it, and you all can see, if you look at 2026, our total revenues coming in from all of our sources, and that's all going to the building fund. Remember, only for facility use. We have $3.9 million coming in. If you'll scroll down, our expenses are 1.9 million. That's what we're paying out in bond payments now. So we have a surplus right now of 1.9 million in our building fund that can be used for any additional bonds that we decide that we need to take. So looking at projected repayments, if we're just doing a conservative estimate at a 5% borrowing rate, if we had a new 20-year bond of $5 million, we would be paying $396,000 a year on that. And remember that previous slide, we have 1.9 million available. If we increase that to a larger amount, 7 million, our bond payment would be 554. If we increased it further to 10, it would be 802. And our 26 bond payment amount right there, that shows you how much we're paying out, and that we've seen that on another slide. Middle column is our total revenue that we have coming in with state equalization, and the far right is available funds we have left that we could use if we determined we wanted to take on any more projects.
Are there any guidelines by the state? I mean, I know it has to be used on facilities, but are there any other guidelines specifying certain things that it cannot be used for?
So there was a House bill, it started as House Bill 678, and that, has granted for a temporary 2 more years up to 2027, June 30th, 2027. We can basically use this on anything. It can be used on sports facilities. It can be used anything facility as long as it's on our district facility plan. Now, after 2027, there's no guarantee that they will allow sports facilities to be part of that. I don't know what they'll determine. But as of right now, until June 30th, 2027, you can use this money for any kind of facility needs that the district deems pertinent.
I hate to put you on the spot by asking you this, but, the last, facilities plan that we have, what was the overall dollar amount of our need?
Trent had a golf match. I will have to look that number up and get to you. I'm not positive. But we can look it up and I can send it to you. So, what questions do y'all have about
Are we required to do, I mean, are you required to do 20-year bonds, or is that just the typical?
That's just typical. You're not required to do that.
How much extra room do we have at the hospital right now?
Room for,
Increasing students.
we've got several empty classrooms.
Yeah, I would say there's like 4 empty classrooms right now.
Please. So we're in pretty good shape there for space
That's
wise.
really, too bad we don't have a couple of them at Mount Vernon Elementary.
Yeah. You just shift them over.
Okay, all of them at their school.
Yeah.
But would you say all our schools are good now as far as room?
Yes, we need, we've had the discussion about, expanding preschool, and, that is the need, is spacing, so we're exploring options right now about how we can move forward with that and what solutions can we find. As far as our schools in general, we've done, energy savings projects, we've done lighting, we've done our project at the high school for our handicap accessibility at the front. We've put a roof on the, academy over the summer. We roofed at the high school is in good shape. Of course, the roof at the middle school, all of the middle school is going to be brand new. We will need to put a roof on the ATC, and we have cash available to pay for that roof. Roundstone we will have to put a roof at Roundstone. However, we will have another SSCC offer by the time that it's ready to put a roof on there. And we eventually need to look at windows at Mount Vernon Elementary over the next probably 3 to 5 year period. Right, everything else is in good shape.
What are we gonna do with the academy to make it pleasing to middle school?
I don't know that we can make it. I mean, I don't know what we can do. I think what we will need to do is get the new middle school built and then assess what can we do to.
What color paint we're gonna get.
Yeah, what can we do? Yeah.
Well, we did fairly good.
With that project, the roofing project, we just did a ton of work on the interior with new ceiling tiles, and so it's really nice inside. So.
It got new lights, it got new
Yeah,
lights, it got
lights,
new
ceiling
ceiling tiles,
tiles.
it got electrical stuff, they pulled out old network cables, they did a lot of work.
I just stayed in amazement. I don't think we've ever been, I've only been on here 6 years, I believe, that we've ever been in this position. I think this is a hard position for us to think about.
Well, we've never been in this.
That's what I mean,
position.
we've never been in this position, and so I think we do have to open our minds a little differently and think about this, because you're almost gonna save money, but this is a kind of almost a use it or lose it scenario.
Don't lose it.
Well, you could draw, like our bonding potential could get less,
Yes, so
essentially.
you gotta think about 20 years, that we've got this money coming in for 20 years, and then after 20 years, you're no longer gonna get that equalization. So
if we don't use it, if we do not utilize it, it's like if Robbie gives me a gift and I don't use it.
it would be hard for us, I will say this, it would be very hard for me to go back to Frankfurt and advocate for more money if we are not really strategic about what they use, if we don't utilize
It's got 20 years. It doesn't say we have to use it this year.
what we don't, whatever we have will continue to accumulate into our building fund. So
But if you have something that needs bond out, the 20 years is
you've got
20
it, yeah, you've got 20 years to do it. So if you're looking at a bond payment that you think's gonna last 20 years, you know you have a steady stream of revenue coming in for 20 years to make that bond payment.
Thank you for explaining the equalization, because, after we talked, I think that, just knowing that this is absolutely nothing to do with the money that we've received for a middle school project, nothing. It just opens, it opens my thoughts in my head a lot on possibilities and stuff.
Nothing to do with our general fund, nothing to do with our amount of money we receive for seat.
And may I say this, I don't know if I'm right, the rock building, can you clarify that?
So we purchased that with cash. We purchased that building with cash. It also is totally separate from the middle school. We were able to pay cash out of the building fund for that building. We have some, Jenny, 7.4 million right now in the building fund currently. So we anticipate renovating that building with cash versus any kind of bond that we would ever want to do.
So I guess, Carrie, as far as myself, maybe at some point in time in the future, we can have a working session and just discuss different needs.
Yes.
Maybe if Trent can be there, well,
Anybody.
any of you, all of you, as far as that, if you wanna come and sit on the.
Miss Jenny and I actually this morning, we started actually writing out, we've had some discussions about, playground needs. Making certain that our students that have special education needs have access to good playgrounds. That's important to all of us. So just some needs that's not a $20 million need, but that's a need that, at some point we definitely need to address. So we're working on that, and we'll get some more information back from our architect, and hopefully have a working session scheduled in the next 2. I'd like to do it before fall break if we're able to get the information back from him. Anybody else have any questions?
I would like to have a hard copy of this. Just as a reminder, this, and I look at a computer, and
I'm thinking you need to do an NCA,
Yeah,
that was very good.
Item 4 is operations and actions. We added item B to that. Does anyone have any questions for Dr. Ballard?
Want to make a motion?
Have a first, need a second? Okay, all in favor? Yep. Item 5A, review and approve the monthly financial reports. Ms. Judy?
You have your reports for the month of August. Our budget is, we're going to talk a little bit more about that in our working budgets, but on our ending financial report, we have produced revenues for the month of $1.1 million and expenditures of $1.6 million. This does include bond payments. This particular bond payment was some of our bond payments for the middle school, equaling $599,000. Do you have any specific questions about making a financial report?
Need a motion to approve? Have a first and second, all in favor? Item 5B is review and approve fiscal year 2026.
We needed to make a couple of updates to the salary schedule, and those updates are based on the need to add an assistant coach for cross country and track at both the middle school and high school. Those students we have lots of athletes running cross country and track, and they are in need of an assistant coach at both schools.
Currently 77 runners, and that's just too much for individuals. So, but that's a fabulous problem to have, that we get kids engaged, that really participate. So,
Is that one in each school or one total? Okay, because that would encompass the 77, right, middle and the students.
Yes. There's also a staff support secretary at the Rockcastle Academy, and this is in support of our My Rock Online students and scheduling there. And our schedule for our school officials, after we approved last year our sports official schedule, there was an update by the in the regional area, and we needed to reflect that on our salary schedule. In review of their schedule for this year, there were no additional changes for the current fiscal year, but anticipated changes in 26, 27. So there's a few changes there that we need to approve.
And a lot of soccer.
Yes, and adding soccer.
Move to approve.
All in favor? Item 5C, review and approve the 25-26 working budget.
Exciting times, always. Our working budget that you've been presented with, and you have a full comprehensive copy in your file, is an overview of our financial plan for the upcoming fiscal year, highlighting key revenue sources, expenditure priorities, and strategic investments in education. Our total budgets are $54.5 million. And always remember, when we're talking about budgets, we get to talk about those 3 times per year, but we're always talking about new monies, with the exception of multi-year funds, which are Fund 2, our grants, and Fund 360 construction funds. And we budget for those based on the project. We have $38 million in our general fund budget. $4.1 million is designated for facilities, $2.6 million for student transportation operations, $7.4 in our building fund for future projects, and $1.9 million for debt service payments. We can be really proud of our dedication to our instructional investment. Our instructional revenue receives 50% of general fund budget. That's $19.1 million strategically placed so that our district can continually have small class sizes and attract quality educators. Within that 19.1 instructional budget, $15.6 million is directed directly towards staff and fringe benefits. To break down our general fund revenue sources, we receive $4 million from our local sources. So that's our local taxes, both, property tax, franchise tax, motor vehicle taxes. State sources, $26.9 million, and other sources is $3,000. Now that does not equal up to our $38 million, and that's because we had a $6.1 million beginning balance. To break down our further local revenues, we receive $2.5 million in general property taxes, and then our motor vehicle franchise equal 3.7, but do remind us that we always transfer $1.2 million is transferred to building fund. So just as soon as we receive our taxes, in the fall we receive our payments, we go ahead and make that transfer to building fund. $855,000 in utility tax, and $528,000 is strategically earned in investments of our district funds. To break down our state revenues, we receive $17.4 million in SEEK, and the state pays on our behalf for health insurance, life insurance, for $9.4 million. Our special revenue funds, we've had some years where, we had some really large funds, and just to kind of start, taking those off of the register, In fiscal year 24, we had $7.3 million in Fund 2, 25, 6.7 million, and currently 3.7 million. We do have a few grants that are just now being approved by the state that will go up slightly. I would anticipate it to be around slightly under 5 million for the year, once those are all awarded. Dr. Ballinger has shared with you information this evening about capital funds. Capital funds come in the area of capital funds, Fund 310, and that's our capital outlay. We often use those for, based on needs. We can use them for debt service payments, we can use them for facility upgrades, or we can use them for things like technology or the purchase of buses. And in recent years, we have utilized those for bus purchases. Our building fund, I just wanted to recap what Dr. Ballinger has shared with you this evening. We had a beginning balance in our building fund of $5.7 million. We have received state revenue, and that's our equalization dollars, of $2.4 million. Our local tax revenue, as soon as we receive those this fall, we'll do a transfer of $1.2 million. And for the year, we have budgeted $1.9 million for our debt service payments. This would leave us a balance of $7.4 million in cash in our building fund. And that building fund will continue to grow as we annually receive those equalization payments and our local tax revenues. Our construction fund, currently there are no new projects projected in Fund 360. Our middle school project has been set aside. It's funded, fully funded, and well underway. So at this time, we have no new funds in 360, and our debt service is $1.9 million. Our food service program is self-sustaining, and a budget projection of $3.1 million for the fiscal year. Just to recap, as a board, you have approved a remarkable 12% raise over the past 5 years, and the current fiscal year budget includes a 2% raise for all staff. Just a budget summary and outlook. You know, we're balanced across all funds. Our budget is student-centered. We focus our spending on the needs of our students. Capital investments. It's a really exciting time for Rockcastle County Schools to have the opportunity to look to the future and our facility needs, and to have the funding there in partnership with the community and the state to support those capital investments. Fiscal responsibility. We have a strong contingency. We maintain that at $4.4 million, and we can utilize those contingency funds for unexpected expenses, or should we ever have a revenue shortfall. We hope that does not happen, but should that happen, we are covered with our contingency funds. Moving forward, as a district, and you as our board, and Dr. Ballinger as our leader, we continue to invest in excellence. With a $54.5 million budget, it's our unwavering commitment to educational excellence, fiscal responsibility, and community trust. Every dollar is strategically allocated to support student achievement and prepare our learners for future success. You know, if we think about all of our departments, every school, every athletic field, our SROs, our mental health professionals, all of those things encompass this $54.5 million budget. And Rockcastle County has much to be proud of in our students, but that we have a strong school system and we are financially stable. Community transparency. Budget documents are posted to the district website monthly for public review. Ongoing monitoring. It's very important that we monitor monthly financial reports. We track our performance as compared to our adopted budget. And you know, we will notify you of any concerns that we ever have as a finance team. Our finance team is a dedicated group of individuals that are closely monitoring all of our finance dollars, our payroll systems, and providing you with the reports and I think the trust to know that that we're doing that on a daily and monthly basis. Our team, as a team, we often joke. It's been a long-standing saying in our finance department that you get a star, and you get a star for good work. You get a star for hey, we got that report done. But as a team, as a district, it's a shining star that we have our strong finance stability that can move us forward to the future. Do you have any questions about the budget? Our contingency, we have a strong contingency. Our budget, our carry forward dollars were a little bit more this year. Our contingency is about 11%, which is still very strong. It's not changed, but our budget did increase slightly. So that lowered that percentage a little bit. Mm-hmm.
Item 6 is to review superintendent's personnel action report. It's chock full. As you all can see, we've had a lot of hires. Ms. Savannah has been extremely busy onboarding people. I'll give you just a moment to look at it and see if you have any specific questions. Item 7, department reports. Department reports. Item 8, public comment. Number 9, superintendent communication.
I have just a couple primarily dates that I want to share, but the first thing I want to do is take a moment to celebrate the Rockcastle golf team. They were the 2A state championship runner-ups. I did speak today with Coach Gentry and gave him the option. I want us to recognize those individuals either to come tonight, and I know it was short notice, or wait to come to the October meeting. They are going to wait to come to the October meeting because they're going to have a couple more tournaments in between now and then, and we'll be able to celebrate their whole season. So, congratulations to them. I know everybody is really proud. A few dates. This Thursday, we will have our first community-based accountability meeting of the year. You all should all have received an email invite to that. It begins at 5:30. Always, we keep those to an hour, so we'll be done by 6:30. Directly following that, we will be having our public hearing for the Rock building at 6:30. You are not required to be at that. Trent and Jenny and I will be here. Any of you that want to stay around or want to be here, of course, you're welcome, but you are not required as board members to be at that. You have your sweatshirts in front of you for the ribbon cutting on Friday. That will be at 7:10. We will have reserved parking for all of you right inside the construction gate. So if you're facing the football field, it is, right where the construction trailer is. And there is a gate around it, and we will have someone there letting people in. But there will be a reserved parking. We're going to do handicap parking in that area and reserved parking. So all of you all will have a place to park for that. Really super excited about the ribbon cutting at the end. I think it's going to be real nice. We're including our football players, our cheerleaders, our band, our color guard, and our girls soccer team. they will all be on the field with us. And I think Mr. Russell and I were talking in Savannah today. This is about our kids, and it's most important that they are there. The rest of us can be here if we're even on the ribbon. We need our kids because this is for them. So really excited about that evening, and I will work with our architect to set a work session date, and I'll send you all a few options to see what will work for you all after I'm able to follow up with you. That's all that I have. I have a question. Okay. Imagine that. What about parking? Okay. We have, it's not going to be perfect. I will go ahead and say that. We've lost a lot of parking, as you all know, because it's a construction zone. However, we will have the reserved and the handicap parking where we just pointed out on the map. We will have half of the current middle school parking lot where we have always traditionally parked available for general parking. We'll be able to park in front, as we always have, in the grassy area, if Hannah's got it, all of that area. And then we are going to run shuttle buses from the high school. So we're going to have overflow parking at the high school. We're going to run shuttle buses every 15 minutes, starting at 5:30. We will pick that shuttle back up at the beginning of the third quarter. If someone decides they want to leave early, we'll go ahead and start after halftime shuttling back. So we think we have the best plan that we can put into place. It's not going to be perfect, but right now we just until the project is done. Right. We would like to encourage people to carpool. So anybody that can carpool, we would appreciate that. How? So everybody's working together. Yeah, that's like okay.
Well, there's some parking that can happen on the other side of the center too, right? Of our lot in
It
front.
drops down, I think, a little too much.
Yeah, I don't know
He's checking it out.
why
It's
it's
pretty
not
dry.
but there is some parking, like, we want to ensure that no one blocks the road going between the middle school and the academy. However, there is some parking on both sides of that road, but we'll just have to make sure we're able to keep that open for emergencies. But, and Miss Savannah put out a post this afternoon about the parking. It's on Facebook.
So we'll continue to share that out and share it out again Friday.
We have ordered spirit towels. We have 1,500 of these. We counted out already for our kids that we just mentioned, that our football team and cheerleaders and band and soccer team. We've already counted towels out for them, so they'll have to keep. But we'll get these out as people come into the office. And I think we're ready for it. Sounds great. Matt, you have anything?
Appreciate Trent, JD, and all the people that have been involved in the football field and that whole project. You know, it's been a big lift, but we appreciate the extra work to get it done and get it done well. So everything I've heard about it has been wonderful.
Thank you all for everything you all do every day. I'm excited to see our community kids enjoy our football.
Mr. Director, we'd like to keep that 96% attendance.
Oh, how was the day?
No, that's
How
not
did
happening.
it stay? You know, Mr. Record, how did it stay?
It was okay. Didn't meet expectations.
All right.
But 96 today. Better than this state last year, though. We didn't have school last year. This week will be better.
Well, thank you all so much. Do any of you all have any comments? With that being said, we need a motion to adjourn. Second. All in favor? Thank you all so much.